Alright, so next comes the work section, which is actually a combination of two different components, which is going to be the featured work and all other work. So we are going to start with making the featured work component. So we are going to just name it featured work.js. And what is this going to be? Is going to be React Arrow functional component export. And for some reason my image just stopped working, which is very awkward. Alright, so this is going to be a section with a class name, with a section with featured work as a class name. Featured work or projects, let's have it featured project as the class name. And inside of which we'll be having an h2. We should be having title as a class name, and it will be some of my work. And then we'll be having another list which will be containing all our projects. And now here's the fun part. Now inside of this, you're going to be needing an li, which will be basically working, which will be again taking data from here, and we have a work array which will be containing different content, links, image, and image details inside of it. Now, what does that mean is this is an array which is containing an object, a singular object. So it's an array of objects which is containing content, link, image, and the image details, which is going to be the alt or the title if I wish to add a title in the future. And the content is having the title, the description, and the text tag which we'll be using. So again, that's why I have this open. So all I can do is just copy this, come over here, and I'm just going to paste it over here, and I'm just going to change this to works. Alright, and then what we are going to do is we are going to map works, which is an array. So works.map, and we're going to take and we are going to do this. So what we are going to do is we are going to destructure our works, each and every object with do like content. There's going to be link, there's going to be image, and image details. And we'll be passing it into an li. So it will be passing it into an li, which will hold, for now I will just keep it, a featured project component. So featured work is having all the featured projects, which are going to be a component of its own. So let's create that component. So for that, I'll create a folder which will be work components / featured project.js, and this featured project.js is again a React Arrow functional component export. My image just sometimes doesn't work. So yeah, and this is gonna be a div. This is gonna be a simple div. But this will also have another component inside of which is gonna be the featured text. So we'll be creating that soon. For now, we just wanna work with this. So we're gonna name this div. So I'm just gonna delete this, and I'm gonna name it dot project. And this project is gonna hold in another div. So here we are maybe having the text component. So let me just say that the text component comes here. Component comes here. Ignore my spelling. And then we'll be having a div with project image. So the content is on the top, and then we come with the image. And which will have an A. So it will be an anchor, which includes another div, which will be image wrapper. Yeah. So this is very similar to what we did with the about image thing. So we are going to name it image wrapper. I'm not using the same name again. So for now it will be blank. And also let me just put this thing already because I forget about it and after I did. Don't always remember to add a target blank and rel of no opener and no referrer. This helps that no malware is getting installed or not getting put into your website, and the target blank just opens it on a new tab in a new tab or a new window. If you don't have this, your website will be closed, and instead of your website, so this link will open in place of your website. That's how it works. So I just like to have that. Okay. Now in this, why do I have a span over here? I'm not sure. This should be a div, and it should be image wrapper. Okay, that was a little weird, but okay. Okay, now this and this and this is save this. Alright, and inside of this we'll be having an image with the source unknown for right now, and I'm also gonna add the hidden and the alt also will be unknown for now. So this is gonna be just an image, which I think actually I can. Yeah, I just forgot. Yeah, we have to also take in props. So what will be a feature project taking in is content, links like what we have already, image, and image details, and then we will be working with those data over here. And I guess this is all we need for the featured project. Now let's create the featured text component, which will be having a title, which will be taking the title, the content will be passed into it. So we'll be creating a featured. Now you're not able to see anything. And let me just do one thing. I'll just put that in action. So we'll just go back to, why is it not auto saving now? It's auto save. Because I forget to save a lot of the times. Auto save is a big lifesaver for that. Alright, so the featured work component will indeed take in here featured project. I'm gonna auto import it inside of it. So for a number of works, we'll be taking that component, and in that we'll be passing. So let me just copy this whole thing over here. So let me just do this, and we'll be copying this from here, and I'll be pasting it over here. Alright. So we're passing everything inside of that. So for every work, so every object like this, we will creating and featured project list element. Keep that in mind. Okay. And now let's just go to apps so we can close experience now, and we'll come over here, and I'll just put featured work, and I'll just auto import it. Yes. So this will be auto imported. Yep. Now you can see. I think I now you will be able to see at least the title and everything. If I refresh it, yeah, you are able to see the some work, and mm, I don't know what that are, but I guess those are the anchor tags which are put in. Alright, so coming to this now, that are functional components. Sometimes you have to make something which like according to designs, and that's how they really work. Alright, so featured text is gonna be a div, and we're gonna give it a class name again. So it's gonna be project content, and inside of which we'll be having an h3, which will be the project title. So project. For everything, I'm using this one thingy, because now again this is all inside one featured project, and a featured project is called a project. So it's according to BEM convention, just on a different level. And again, we'll just copy this thingy. So this is all the props which will be taken in, and here we'll be passing in the title. So let's just do accordingly now, and here we have the text container. The text container, which will have the text description. So dot text description, which will have a p tag, in which we'll be sending in our description. Okay, and then we'll be having the details tag. Yeah, so not in the description, but inside the text container itself, we will be having another div, which will be project details, which will have an anchor tag, which will be a button. So I'm going to switch it around, which will be a button, which will have an anchor tag inside. So I'm just going to copy an anchor tag, the details of an anchor tag again from my another code base, another screen, and inside of that I'm going to put in visit website. Visit website. Website. I think this is, oh god, I think this is where the error is happening, where the text is not getting any color. So actually, you know what, let's wrap the button inside of the, yeah. So I'll just put a visit website. Now I would have used an SVG, but I'm not in the mood to use one, so, or finding the proper one. So if you want to use an SVG, you know the whole format of finding an SVG and just putting it in the icon and just importing it over here and just replacing that with this button, this whole button, to be honest. Alright, so yeah, I'm just gonna put that button over there, and after this anchor tag, we'll have another list, which will be called project text stack. Text stack. So it's going to be called project text stack, and in which we are going to check if you have a text stack. So we check if you have a text stack. We are going to use a ternary operator over here, and if there is a text stack, then we are going to, okay, let me just do this. Yeah, let me just copy this and let me just paste it over here. And yeah, if you have a text stack, it's gonna paste text stack. Now this is just for debugging stack. If I'm featuring any project, I want to tell the text stack, so this won't really matter. So you can just simply do this, and it will just work. but just for the sake of working right now, I'm gonna put that thing over there. I guess that's all we needed. JSX wise, now we are gonna have to style a lot of things. So I'm just gonna put in. Yeah, I'm just gonna again. I'm gonna copy everything from here. I'm just gonna paste it over there, so that I don't have to do the query thingy completely on my own. And also for the source, I'm going to pass in the image, and for the alt, I'm going to pass for the alt again. It's not very necessary that I will pass an alt each and every time. So sometimes I'm just going to pass. It's a good thing to pass alt, but sometimes I might just forget. I don't want the system to just crash if I don't have an image detail dot alt in it. So just for that safekeeping, I'm just going to check if I have image details, and then I'm going to put image.alt. Or rather, let me just check if there is image.alt, and then I'm going to put image.alt in it. Or it's going to be blank. Alright, so with that, I think we have done with all the linking and sharing of props. Alright, I think that's it. Now if we open the website and refresh it, you will be able to see, I think, everything, hopefully. I have not messed up everything over here. Okay, it failed to not defined. Did I not? Yep, I didn't import it. Sorry. So it's gonna auto import it, and now it should be working just fine. If I refresh this right now, it should be working just fine. Yeah, awesome. Now if I just scroll all the way to the bottom, okay, what's happening? Everything is getting loaded up. So this is the title. This is all the content. So this is the project content or the feature text which I was talking about, and this is the image which will be linking to my link. I forgot to do that, I guess. So featured project and no. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, it says it is linked, so the link should be passed through it. I don't know why is it not getting passed through it. I don't know. It must be some kind of error. I forgot to add a link for the TEDx MMC website. So it's either that or that. Alright, so now comes the part of doing the CSS. For this one, I'm doing everything within a singular. I'm doing everything into a singular Sass file. So this is going to be one big Sass file. So just okay. This is just for the featured work, right? Yeah, where is it? Featured work and featured project for some reason, and then there is featured project. Just name it featured. I guess it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, you're gonna create one singular Sass file, which is gonna be featured work.scss, and don't forget to make it a PowerShell. And just bring it over here so we can start working on it. So we are going to start with dot feature project, in which we have to give a padding of 8% all around, just to keep in with the side spacing. And then we start with the H2, which I don't think with anything else, but I'm gonna give it a capitalize, and yeah, I'm just gonna give it a capitalize, I guess. So my title will be dot title. We'll just have this one thing, which actually I should be giving it everywhere, but it's fine for now. And then we go for the UL. which has a margin. Each will have a margin from okay, what's happening? My emmett is broken. 2m and 0 left right, so top and bottom 2m and 0 left right, and then my each li inside of it. Just do this. Each li will have a width of 100%, and a margin 0. Just in case if there is any cascaded margin which is coming onto it, so it's just for that. And now then we can go to our featured project and start on working on the project thing. So dot project is having a width of 100%, and it's gonna have a display grid. So display grid, yes, with a gap of 10%, 10 or 10 pixels. It's not. Go ahead and let me just copy this part. We're gonna add this, and we're gonna align it to flex start. Also gonna make it so that when we are on a larger scale, it's gonna be center line center. Now, what's happening with it is if I refresh this. Actually, no, I just forgot to import it. That's why. That is featured work. Hoping in the size spelling. Yeah, you can look at it. So this is getting gridded, but now we are going to do something which is going to make this a lot more better for your screen to work on. So I'm going to come into at underscore content, so it's project content, and I'm going to give it, so let me just copy this grid area and do this. Alright, so I'm giving it a padding and then I'm giving it a grid area of like 1, 1, 1 and -7, and then I'm making this column to span from 1 to -1, which will be covering everything. Now we have given it a 12. So here, if you're not familiar with grid, again, I'm giving 12 columns of one fraction, so 1 FR each. So when I do this, it's going to cover the whole screen like this. Now I know it's going a little bit off, but it's going to cover that very soon because we're going to make it so. Also, let me just add this media query, which is anything about like 50 M, is gonna change the grid from going from 1 to minus. Instead of covering the whole grid, it's just gonna cover 1 to 8 for everything. Now I have to do now. Also, I want to do. Let's cover that afterwards. Yeah. Now this won't make any change right now, but now when we come to instead of doing title, I guess. Now if I come to say image and I do similar thing, I give it a position relative, and I just add a little bit of stuff to it everywhere. So I'm giving it a grid area, a z-index of 1, column grid going from 1 to -1 again, and an opacity of 0.5. Now this, you can ignore this part for now. But when I do this and when I refresh this page, you see they are overlapping on one another, which just makes it much better for your screen. And with media query afterwards, I'm just gonna make it so they are like that. So let me just finish working on the content side first. So let me just add all the starting for my content first. So we'll be doing the title. Usually, let me just copy everything and paste it because this is the simple text formatting. This is not something bigger or huge, but I'll explain what I have done basically. So let me just paste everything over here. Now you can see it's a big chunk, but what I've basically done is starting from the title, I've just set some variable font size, give it a color, and change the padding for it, media query. The description, the same thing. I've given it the padding, the p tag inside the description. I've given it the color and some variable font size, responsive font size. And for the details part, I've given it a display flex so that the button, and the text tag are one top on another with the column. And I also changed the order of the anchor text. The button is going down and the UI is coming up, so the text is going up. But for a higher screen, I'm changing the orders again. So for, I guess, only for did I not change it? I must have forgot. No, actually, for this one, I need to have the same order. Anyway, so yeah, this works as it is. And I start to work on the image. So for the image, I've already done all these things. Now inside the image, we have an anchor tag. I've done all the styling for this part, and this is just some simple styling which I've done and with some display grid and display flex. That's it. So you don't really have to worry about it. So just, if you want, you can just copy it. Going to my GitHub, the code is just available over there. So, alright. So inside of the image, we have the anchor tag, to which is also which just has a width of 100%. So I'm just going to give it a width of 100%. Now I want to do something similar to what we did with the about page. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this one the border, and the wrapper now, the image wrapper dot image wrapper would act like what we did for the inner container. So it will have the mixed blend. So let me just again copy everything. And also I'm changing the minimum height to this 241 because I'm so sorry. This makes the work a lot more simpler, in my opinion. I've just tested it out, and so that's the exact pixel value I've taken for my images. If it's not working for your images, maybe you can change this minimum height and it should just work fine. Okay, so now again, the wrapper will have the same thing with the overflow hidden, a padding top of 57%, which is making it 19 by 6, around 19 by 6. I'm not sure. This is just making sure the ratios are appropriate, and then I have having the mid with mixing and then filter to make the color change. So if I refresh this now, you can see this is getting a good color change in it. And now if I this is the actual wrapper. This is actual not the wrapper. What do you say? The image, the image div, and this is the wrapper which is covering all the image. So there is a little bit of difference which you can see completely. Alright, so let's do one more thing. I have to give it a position of, so the image which is inside of the wrapper, img over here, will have a position absolute. Again, let me just copy this completely, and I'm going to fit the image and I'm also going to change the object position to be center right and for it to cover. Now why I'm doing this center right is, if I remove this, if I just refresh this page, you can see this is completely aligned and like good to go already. If I just remove this, it's a little bit off and it doesn't look good. So it's just good to have a center right for the images. And why is there no padding in between each project? Didn't I had a gap? Just had a gap of like 1 M. Am I anything? Oh no, oh, it was not for that. It was for every, yeah, it was for every UI, which was inside the feature project. Or it should be, yeah, it should be working. I'm not sure. Okay, it might, I don't know, I might have forgot something somewhere. But yeah, apart from this, there comes one more thing. Is I don't now if I make this full screen, you see that each and every one of them is of the same exact size. Also, this is not changed for some reason. What's happening? No. Shouldn't the Oh yeah, I forgot to add the media query and the hover to change everything. Yeah. It should be getting to this one. Yeah, below this. So this will now just fix everything up for us. Yeah. So on the full screen, you see that each and every one is the text is on the right and the image is on the text is on the left and the image is on the right. And I want it to be having an even and odd, so a zigzag pattern. And for that, we'll be using another CSS property, which is for the li. So for each li, we will choose the nth child. Sorry, nth child, which is odd, and we are gonna change. We're gonna give it a margin. Yeah, this is where the change. I guess the thing change. I will give it a margin of 1 M and 0. And now here I'm gonna change my grid. So I'm just gonna copy this everything inside of it, and I'm gonna explain what I actually did over here. So I'm just making sure that all the text is now going to the right side and everything is getting right aligned. So the content is then text aligned right. My grid also changes from like 6 to -1 instead of 1 to 8. And then my project details is also project details. So my button also then comes to the left side, and then my anchor just and my text size goes to the right side and is then sticking to the right side, and my image is also then changing its query to go to the left side, and the image is getting position center left. So now if I were to refresh this, you'll see that. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't show you what I did. So yeah, this is all the changes that I posted for the li n child. For all, I added a margin of 1 M, and I made sure that everything that is for the odd container. So every odd container, which is apparently this and this, for some reason it starts from 1 and not from 0. I would have expected to start from 0, so I was expecting only this one to be right aligned. But the first and the last one, so the 1 and 3, the odd ones, are then getting the right aligned completely. And when I do the full screen, even my button and everything is similarly dispersed over there, which is just completely awesome, and it works just fine. All right, and yeah, and even this works completely awesome. I think I've missed something because no, it's working completely fine. Yeah. And yeah, the animation also just worked for the full screen or for the desktop and not for the mobile, because it would have been very, very, very hectic if it were for the mobile. I see. So this is the featured part of featured section. Now next comes the interesting part where we'll be using the GitHub API. So let's just start doing that as we still have time. So this is gonna open. Where did it go? Yeah. we are just gonna, what is open over here? Alright, so we are just gonna go over here and create a new work component. Actually, no, it's not really a work component, it's a separate component of its own right now. So we'll just add it in a section, and we're gonna name it as, what should I name it? GitHub, yeah, no. Repos now. Let's just name it like all projects, or all projects, all work, yeah, all work. Even though not all my works are covered over there, there's just, I'm not, yeah, I agree with that. I don't think I'll be needing data. I think I will be needing data. I'm not sure about that. I think, yeah, I'll be needing data to get the, so let me just do that first. Let me React arrow functional component export. Okay, and we are just gonna, I think we're gonna just need the repo icon, and so yeah, you'll be needing only this much. Yeah, that's about it that I will be needing. So we are going out of here and out of here, right? Even the composition is just working all fine, and well, apart from that, now this one has to do a lot of things on its own. So it's gonna touch to the GitHub API to get all my repos, and it's just gonna save them in a state. And then we are also gonna have a show more button, which is gonna control if I have to show say X number of repos or I have to show all of my repos. Now you can also add like a filter function to it, to which will just filter out some repo which you just don't want to show, but I'm gonna show all my repos because I don't really care at this point. So this is also going to be a section, and yeah, this is also going to be like a section, and it's going to be named projects. And I know it sounds a little awkward and weird to say it's like a project, and this is going to be an H2, but this is not going to be a title because I don't want it to be in the middle. I want it at the side. My other projects, and then we'll be having a UI which will be basically the project grid. So I'm literally going to name it the project grid, and inside of which here comes the tricky part. Let's make a component which is going to be let's make a component called repo.js, in which we'll be sending in all our data. So yeah, React arrow functional component. Yeah, it was correct. And this is gonna be nothing but an li. Now it sounds weird, but listen to me. It's gonna be an li, which is gonna be inside of, and it's gonna be called as repo. All right. So inside of this UL, we are gonna make sure that we got all the repos from the API, and then when we have that API, depending upon the button. So let me just for now, let me just make like a small li, and let me just say hello, and also let me just add a button. I guess no. It will make sense once everything comes together. So let's just work on the repo first. So yeah, this repo will be a component. So this repo is gonna be repeated multiple number of times. So this repo will instead have a div inside of it called repo inner, which will hold almost all the data. And this is also future safe, because if I wanted to add like a text tag, now GitHub returns language with the major language used for the repo. It doesn't give you the whole text stack. So for now, I'm stuck with not using a text stack for my repos. If I someday decide to switch to like GraphQL, then I think I might be able to do that, because I've seen people use a tech stack over here too, and I don't know how they do that, but they were using GraphQL for the project, so maybe there is a way to do that with GraphQL. I have no idea right now, so I'm not going to worry with that. So for now, I'm going to give it, now this is going to have a top, and this top is indeed going to have a repo icon, and then it's going to have the top, yeah, the top, okay. In this, we actually need to bring in the icon. So this is where the icons will come into work. We're going to paste this here, and it's also one more scope outside. So we are in work component, we'll be getting out to section, and from section we'll be getting out to components, and from there we'll be getting out to data, and then we go into icon. So that's how we are working right now. From there we're going to take GitHub icon dark and repo icon. Now I also want to, there is two GitHub icons. I've not currently linked my future project to my repo. They're directly going to the thing. So it's something which I might do in the future. So that's just for scalability purpose or the future sake purpose. I've already created a GitHub icon which is in the accent color. That's all. Okay. So here we are going to use the repo icon. So yes, we just pop that in, and now here inside of the top again, we will be having a div which will be repo links, in which we'll be having an anchor tag, which is going to be, okay. This is going to have a link. For now, let's just keep it blank, and inside of which we'll be having this icon. Okay, good. So I hope this makes sense. It's not too tripping for you, because this is a lot of nesting, one on top of another, but I hope this makes sense to you. And now once you are out of the top, so I'm just gonna shut the top off, and over here, so let me just do this and then do this. Let's open over here. When we are outside of the top, again I'm gonna just close the top off, and we are gonna have another H3. So this will be the inner data. So the inner has the top, and then it has the data inside of it. So this H3 will be nothing but a repo title, which will again link to, which will again have an anchor tag inside of it, which will again link to somewhere, but for now let's let it be. And so let me just structure it nicely. Okay, destructure it, I mean. And sorry for that. If I do this, it saves this automatically. Yes, good. And here we'll be having some kind of a data. For now, let's just say my name, or like a repo name. Okay, and beneath the title, we'll have another div, which will be repo description, in which we'll be having a p tag. All right, and this p tag will have again some data. All right, I hope this all makes sense, because if not, it's gonna be a lot of hectic things to keep. So this is all a repo is gonna be. We're gonna style it afterwards. So So in all works, what we are going to do is let's start by making the fetch function. So okay, let's start by making the fetch function so it will be a lot clearer, so I can just show you everything how it works. So first of all, we are going to have a state which is going to store all of the repos. So we are going to, of course, be using repos, repos, and then we have set repos, or you can even name it like GitHub data. It doesn't really matter. But then we are going to use state, and I'm just going to auto import it, and it won't have any initial value inside of it. And we will also have another state, which will be, again, I can use useState this thing, and I want to name it is show more, and this is going to toggle show more. Yeah. And apart from that, now we will be doing one more thing. I'm going to introduce a grid limit of like 6. So if the show more is not clicked, only 6 of my repos are shown, and if it is clicked, all of my repos are shown. That's how it works. So I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to set it to false. So by default, the show more is going to be false. Now, for the fetching purpose, now fetch is an asynchronous process, and you don't want your component to be refreshed or to do fetching multiple number of times and then refresh every time, because that's going to break. Trust me. So what you're going to do is you're going to use effect. Now, if you don't use, if you're not familiar with React, this is going to be a little hectic for you. Actually, let me just have this, so this will just clear everything for you. What use effect does it, whenever your component is rendered, it will run this effect for, or it will run this effect for any change in the input which you're giving. So any amount of input which you're giving it to is going to run this effect. And whenever your component is dismounted or now it's been removed, it's going to run this cleanup function. This is what use effect basically does. Now, you don't really need to have a cleanup function or any input, because you're going to do this only once. So if you don't give it any input value, it's going to do this effect just once when it is called, or when the component has been called or been rendered. So what we're going to do is we're going to fetch. Now I already have my GitHub fetch call, GitHub fetch, GitHub API call. So that's it. I'm just going to call the API to call the repos of user, which is my username. I'm going to sort it with the most recently updated one, and then I'm going to direct it, and I'm going to give it the direction of this decreasing order. So the most recently updated will be at the top, and the most the one which was updated in, like, you get the gist, okay? And when we get this fetch, I want to then get a response, which is gonna be which is basically gonna return a response dot JSON. We are gonna convert it into JSON. Fetch returns a promise, and you want to convert it into a JSON format or an object which you can use. So I'm going to convert it into JSON and when after that is going to return that, and then we are going to get data, or which will be basically JSON data. So I'm going to just call it data for lack of a better word. And what we're going to do is we're going to set our we're going to set our repos, set repos to be that data. So here's what we are doing. We are fetching, so we are asking GitHub API to give me all the repos of a user of all my repos, and then we are taking that promise which that fetch is going to return, and then converting it to JSON format, and then when that is been converted to JSON format, we are going to set that JSONified data as our state, which is repo. And just in case if we fail, I'm going to give it a catch. It's just going to just take an error, and we are going to call for that log that error. So come on, Emmett. We're going to log that error. Alright. Okay, now let's remove this. And that's all the fetching that we have to do. So this will just run once, and it's gonna set our repos. Now this is the asynchronous process. So until and unless we get the repos, we cannot map those repos. So what we are gonna do is we are gonna first check. So if there is no repo, then you're gonna show say loading. If there is not a repo but is more, is there is no repo. Now this is gonna look a little complicated, so keep it so just try to understand it. So if we don't have repos, so if repos are not yet loaded, show loading. If they are loaded and if isMore is set, if isMore is true, then we are gonna do repos dot map. We're gonna pass in repo, and we're gonna call our repo element or the repo component, and we're going to pass the repo in it. So repo is equal to repo. For now, let's just have this in this format. Maybe we can destructure it on the way. I don't know. Okay, and all right. So this is our nested ternary operator. So again, over here, we need to, just a moment, yeah, it's perfectly mapped. Okay, then we are going to do this, and if isMore is not set, so if isMore is fault, we are going to do repo dot slice. And we're going to slice it from 0 to grid limit, and then map a repo to go into repo, and when which one repo is equal to repo. Now this might sound a little bit trippy, but this is how it's gonna be working. You can of course like a little bit of cleanup over here, but this is much. I guess this works. So yeah, and yeah, also don't forget to add the button which is gonna toggle. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this over here. So we are gonna add a button which is gonna be having a class name of show button. On click is going to set show more to be to just inverse the is show more. So if it's false, it's going to be true, and depending upon that, we're going to change. So let me just do this. Depending upon that, is show more. If show more is true, it's going to show less. If it is false, it's going to show more. Yeah. This is going to be show more or show less. So you can just toggle in between showing that. Okay, so this is, I think, everything. We have to still set this over here. So we're going to take a repo, right? we're taking repo as our data. And what we are going to do with this is the links are going to be replaced with, so all the, let me just, actually, you know what? Yeah, let me just copy this. Even the tops are going to be, oof. No, the tops don't have any, this one, this one, we are going to give it, now this is again the API data, so repo.html URL. Now this comes from GitHub itself, so it's not that I'm setting anything up. And also just give it this thing. Even though I'm linking it, I just don't want, it's just for a safety purpose, that's all. And actually we're gonna just copy the same thing over here. And we're gonna do it as repo.name and description will have reported description. So let me just copy this again and let me just paste it over here. And I guess that's everything. Now let's check this out by putting all works into our app. Okay, so we're gonna come over here and we're gonna just add all of our work. So all work component. We're gonna just add it in between this and just check if it has worked. So if we're gonna refresh this, obviously it doesn't have any styling in it, so it's gonna be fixed somewhere. It's already been an hour, so I will just this one is gonna be a big video. Use effects is not defined. Oh, I forget to import use effect. It was over here. I think I might have. So we just import it. So that must have fixed it because it is auto imported now. Alright. So now if you just scroll down, you can see all of my repos are getting called away, and if I click show more, it's going to show all of my repos. I'm just going to show the first 6 ones. It's time to style them. So for styling again, it's going to be a little, I don't think the repo part is a lot difficult, so I'm just going to zoom through it because it's just basically using like boxes. So I'm going to do just do all works, and in all works I'll be doing all the different changes. So all works dot SCSS, make it a partial. Let's just gonna import it over here. All work. That's what I called it. Yep, it's not getting any issue. So okay, let's just bring this down here and let's get into styling. Okay, so projects. We start by .projects, which is going to be a display flex, align item center, and flex direction column. Because that's just for the button and the UI grid. So that's just all it's going to be, and even for the button I want to give it a minimum width and everything. So I'm just going to copy and paste that, and here comes the grid. Now for the grid, it's not it's just a simple grid. I'm giving it a 0 padding. I'm giving it like literally nothing. And also, yeah, I forgot to add this to my this. I should have a padding padding of like 0 and 8%. Is it 8%? Yep. So it will be again in line with everything else. As you can see, it's in line with everything. So it's showing loading, and now everything is in line with everything else. So yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah, this works fine. It's working awesome, and yeah, I've added a grid. Now the grid is like it's pretty self-explanatory, but still I will explain it to you guys. So we are adding display grid, and the grid has a template column of an autofill and having a min max of either 250 pixels. So it's gonna be 250 pixels or it's gonna be one. Alright. So whichever is the minimum of that is gonna be choosing that one, and so it's minimum 250 pixels or maximum 1 FR. It's not gonna go above or below that value. So it's very simple as clan. So just in SCSS way, we are giving a gap of 1M. We are giving, and for anything above 45M, we are just making the grid columns to be having a 35 pixel grid. So the minimum goes to like 300 pixels, not 35 pixels. I'm so sorry. Now comes the repo. Now the repos also are having like repos are it's just a lot of it's just a lot of display flex, order radius, and everything like that. Actually, I don't think so. The repos will need any border radius because last time when I was trying, I was getting an error with my allies. So let me just try by adding the box shadows and everything, and give it the position relative because items inside of it are gonna be a little bit moody. Alright, so I don't think I have to worry about sorry, to worry about the margin or anything like that. I have to just worry about the padding and everything. So it's alright for now. Also, I want to give it a hover of I want it to be a clickable thing. So for doing that, I will be doing something which is not. I don't know if it's good or not. For the inner, I just wanted to cover everything, so I'm just gonna make it cover everything. So width is 100%, the height is 100%, and then we are getting padding of 1M, and making sure that everything is aligned nicely in its own place. And this is the hover and focus effect which I'm giving it. And this is links. So for the top two, I want to give it a display flex. I want to have a width of 100%, so I wanted to cover everything. So again, I'm just gonna copy and paste that. And there is a specific continuous space between the margin of this 0.5 m so it's a total of 2 margin, but it's 0.5 top and 1.5 m in the bottom. So yeah, it's making this kind of a division. And as for title and description, I don't want to give them any margin apart from the 1M at the bottom. So let me just copy that too. Originally I've given 1 rem, but I want to change it to 1M because that's just more easier to work with, in my opinion. So everything inside of a title and a margin, a description, and a title is going to be of 1M, and anything inside of it is going to be colored black. So I think it's just loading in. I don't know what's wrong. Actually, this should just go for the description. I don't know why I'm doing it for the title too, but it's just redundant code, I guess. Because in title I have an anchor. Yeah, in title I have an anchor, so it should be going black. I don't know why it's not going black. Did I not name it title? To check the repo. So yeah, I forgot the E. This is about the 5th or 6th time I'm doing this with this project. You know what? I don't want to give it one M. I take that back. I'll give this one rem, so they are equally spaced. Yeah, it's just a little bit of difference. It just looks nice. Okay, and that comes to do the things inside of the title. Now, as I said, I want the whole box to be clickable. So if you click, it's not just the title which you're clicking. I want you to click this box and you should go to the GitHub repo. So for that, what I will do is I'm going to do uh, the title, inside of which I have an anchor tag. This anchor tag will have a position of relative and z index of 1. So let me just do that. Z index of 1. Oh my god. My Emmet is being too slow, which is just big pain. And also then I'm going to add a pseudo element which is going to contain nothing but is going to cover everything. So let me just do that. I'm just going to copy and paste it because it's a lot quicker in that way. So if I refresh this now, you can see that yeah, it's still loading. Just let it load a little bit. Yeah, you can see this whole div is now clickable. So I don't know why my pointer is not clicking. What? Refresh it once. It should have worked. I'm pretty sure. It's still not working. Why is it that? Oh yeah, I've given the position relative, which will limit this to be just limited for that. So I shouldn't be doing this. Rather, I should just, yeah, I just want to add a capitalization. This is not for this one, this is for something else, I guess. Yeah, I wanted to capitalize it because some of my are not named properly. And as you can see, now the whole thing is clickable, easily clickable. So if I click anywhere, so for example, my Instagram clone, if I click it over here, you just go to my repo, my GitHub repo for that particular thing, and you can just look at the code. All right. So now with that out of the way, let's go into the links. Now the links again. This is the link. Now I wanted to add a link again to go to the website over here too, but again I don't want to do so. I don't want to add like too many stuff to one singular div. So I might do it in the future, but not right now. So even for title, the links, I just want to give it like a nice hover effect for the. Alright, so let me just do this. So for the links, the anchor tag in between it, I'm going to give it a position relative as index of 1. And then I'm going to give it so that if I hover over anything inside of the anchor tag, it's going to change its fill to light, which is nothing but doing this. And I wanted to even apply that for my title, I guess. So yeah, I have to apply it to anything inside of my title. That's the worst part, because I've done indexing in such a way that it doesn't really apply to my uh, to my what do I say? It doesn't apply to my anchor. I wanted to apply it to any anchor, to be honest. So if I just do this, you can see it's getting updated, because I wanted to apply it for even for the before. So after I come over the before, I wanted this text to change. If that makes any sense. But yeah, that's how I wanted it to work. So if I come over here, this shines up. If I'm over here, this one glows up. And next comes the icon. Yeah, I wanted the icon to, this is too big. this feels a little too big, so I wanted to reduce the size a little bit. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna do this. So yeah, I'm just gonna come here. I'm just gonna put it to have a relative thingy and to change it to like 45-45, so it looks okay. But now that I think of it, I think it should be okay with 50-50. I want it to be a little bit bigger than this, but I guess 50-50 works just as fine. So sorry, or even like 55 bucks. I don't know. Yeah, 55. Oh yeah, 55 just looks good. I'm gonna keep it at 55. Okay, and next comes the p tag, which is basically inside of the div or the description. So I'm just gonna drop it over. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna drop it inside over here because, well, we're gonna make this a lot more simpler. So yeah, this is how it looks. And also with this grid thingy, what happens is if I go to full screen now, it should have worked. What the hell? Okay, it's not working for some reason. Let me just check what I messed up. Grid, and this is project grid. Yeah, should be inside projects. Oh, I named it projects. So I should just do this. So now it should be fixed. Come on, yeah, this is it. So if I do so less, uh, this is how it's gonna look. You're just able, you're just you will be just able to see like 6 things until unless you click the show more button, and even for mobile it looks the same. The show more button is right over there. The padding, the margin is a little bit off, but I'm sure you can play around with it a little bit, and that will just fix it up. So yeah, that was the work section, the whole work section. I hope you understood everything. The fetch and the nested ternary operators can be a little confusing, but with some practice you'll be able to do it. So I will see you in the next part where we'll be doing the contact me page, which is very simple, and the footer. So I'll see you there.